This week I was reading an article from the website My Jewish Learning the article was entitled How to Pray for Happiness. Reading this article, it soon turned to the question about should we pray for happiness? Is that something that we need to be foremost in our minds? And it suggested that instead of praying for having things or getting things which may bring happiness, we should be more concentrated about joy. And not to achieve joy brings us to a meaningful and purposeful life. And to help us do that, it's suggested that we do certain actions like practice kindness, to learn to be more spiritual and closer to God, to be there for others, to have a life of prayer and gratitude, to learn to forgive, and to learn to grow spiritually and be a better relationship with God and to others. These are ways to get meaning and purpose out of life instead of praying for happiness. Welcome to one of our videos from St. Mark's Episcopal in Dalton, and I welcome all those joining us on Facebook and YouTube. There's a Dr. Reverend Hillary Running is a Episcopal priest near a church near Philadelphia that I follow on the internet, and she puts out a lot of good messages. And this week she had a podcast in which she was talking about the rules of life, and such as Benedict's rules of life and all that. But she made the point in this podcast that the word rule actually comes from a Latin word called regula, which is a feminine word, strangely. Regula means a straight piece of wood. And that may sound like a strange moment like that, but she suggested that its original meaning was something like a ruler or a handrail or even a trellis that plants grow on, that it was something that would help us grow, and it was an invitation to grow and guide us in a certain direction and not to force us in a certain direction. Well, rules to help us, according to Reverend Raining, to help us to do more, not to do more, but to be more in life, to go through the life of purpose and meaning, as I spoke of before. The Episcopal Book of Common Prayer poses the question in the Catechism. It says, how are the Ten Commandments useful? Now, the Ten Commandments are the ultimate rules. It says, how are the Ten Commandments useful? And it answers, it says, they help us to see more clearly our sin and our need for redemption. I repeat that. They help us to see more clearly our sin and our need for redemption. Rules are not to force us, but to guide us to a life of joy, meaning, and purpose. And for that, we'll say, thanks be to God.